our dear viewers. Good afternoon to all of you. I welcome you to this show in January, the first month of 2023. And today we want to look at a number of things. Importantly, we want to ask ourselves what should be prioritized in our communities, in our country, and at the global level. In his New Year's address, President Museveni hinted on a number of things that his government wants to prioritize this year. Of course, this also flows from the budget reading and State of the Nation address. Among the things he hinted on were the rising costs of commodities, which he says government is trying to solve, such as is trying to solve negotiating. And he also prioritized that among the things he's going to do. So fuel is to prioritize EVs, electric vehicles, electric motorcycles. Things that he talked about in the agricultural sector, irrigation, pest controls. Now, today, I'm doing people who know one or two things about Uganda, about economics, politics, and communities. We believe they have the knowledge to advise on what should be prioritized in Uganda among communities. And to help us in this show, where we are going to spur thought on what should be done this year, I'm joined by Nicholas, Aruho, and Francis Happy. I'll give each one of them an opportunity to introduce themselves, and then we shall commence with the show. I'll begin with you, Nicholas, and then Francis, consequently.
Yeah, thank you so much, Martin. Thank you so much, our viewers who are viewing and listening to us. My name is Nicholas Aruho. I'm an economist, a motivational writer, and a tax expert. And I'm happy to be with you today, and I want to wish you a happy new year.
Gotcha. Nicholas, over to you, Francis.
Thank you so much, our viewers. My name is Francis Happy Muhindo. I am a peace building, peace and conflict manager, working with humanitarian communities in northern Uganda, West Nile, and extreme West Rwenzori region. And I'm a development worker, and I've interacted severally with communities and a social researcher. I welcome you to this show. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to begin exactly with you, Francis, before we go to the Economist. In 2020, Uganda was rocked of incidents of the of ADF in Toroko, and that were conflict in settled. You are a peace, but you're also a person who has expertise in humanitarian work. And how do you think we can move in 2023 to avoid situations like that rocked the country? What do you think we should do as a community and to heal from what happened, but also to prevent any such reoccurrences?
Thank you so much. In the first place, I would like to wish everyone Happy New Year. But as we enter this new year, we have had checks on our security as civilians and also as a country, especially in the Rwenzori region. If we take the scenarios that took place in Ntoroko, there were a real check on the security of the country. Uganda as a country has a very good security structure, right from the GIS. We have GISOs at sub-county levels, we have PISOs at parish levels, we have informers at community, at LOC1 level. And then we have an entire security system. One, I would like to applaud the UPDF that is always ready to repulse and deal with such happenings. But there is a big question that people, a group like ADF is able to penetrate Uganda through a border that is heavily guarded. We have UPDF operating in the DRC, that is sure security on our side. But we also have and consider the entire Rwenzori Uganda border as a porous border that needs to be heavily guarded. These people attacked Weramuli, sub-county in Ntoroko. In Ntoroko, by the way, is where we have the mountain warfare training wing, Uganda. This is where people who trade the mountains, or the UPDF who trade the mountains, are training from. We have a heavy barracks in Mwirima, in Bundibujo, which is just about 40 kilometers away from the one that is in Ntoroko. We have a fully fledged mountain brigade barracks in Muhoti, in Fort Portal town. And then we have other barracks in Kasese, in Hima, in Kasese, and at the border, that is upon the border stretch. So the fact that a few or a small group of the UPDF, of the ADF, I mean to say, was able to penetrate twice, not once, but twice, is a signal that we need to double check our security. So moving forward, 2023, community vigilance needs to be enhanced. And this, I mean, community policing involving Uganda Police and other sister security agencies should be really enhanced. Otherwise, we will even have a bigger attack or an invasion of the ADF or any other rebel group. And then at the end of the day, we say, no, we are working. So if we must have holistic development and consolidate the achievements of the NRM government, we need to double check. I was reading somewhere that the ADF, some remnants of the ADF, I don't know remnants, was sighted in Rwamanja, near Rwamanja refugee settlement. That is in Kamwenge district, Chaka Kamwenge side. Then someone was reporting some remnants in Kampala. You know, this is a terror group. They are able to move from place to place. So moving forward, we need to enhance and double check our security system. And this, we need to work with a very common person. Community vigilantes have to be revamped, because it's these community vigilantes that will inform the entire security system, right from the community to the sub-county, and then the level at which they can be dealt with. And we would wish that now the offices of the RDCs country, that the office of the RDC in the entire country should come down, like they do mobilize for elections. They should mobilize communities for security, especially security, not person security from person to person, security against invasion of armed forces. And basically in the Rwenzori region, it is a mountainous area, it is a porous border, and Congo is not having only one group, the ADF. It has a multiple rebel groups which can join forces and terrorize our region. So I would love to implore that this year, starting the UPDF, together with other sister security agencies, come forward and work with the local people to ensure there is security of everyone. And that's when we can realize the fruits even of the East African community markets. I beg to submit for the opening. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Francis, for that. Nicholas, whereas you are an economist, you honestly see things that go around in the country, and security is connected, of course, to the larger picture, you know, to the economy, in fact, because you can't have an economy with instability. Now, I want to ask you whether in your view, you think moving forward, enhanced community vigilance will, like Francis has said, will curb some of these insecurities that we experienced in 2022.
Yeah, thank you so much, Martin. Of course, I live in Uganda, and the security matters concern me so much as well. And as a community, we need to prioritize our security. First of all, as individuals, even before the government comes in. Of course, the ultimate responsibility of securing people lies with government. That's why they have police and the army. But now, beginning with the individuals, ourselves, and communities, we need to be on the lookout, because you realize that nowadays people are not paying enough attention to who is coming into the community. When you come to Kampala and other communities, you can go to a village and you will live there for 5 years and no one will know that you're there. We don't know our neighbors. We don't know because we have LOCs everywhere, and these LOCs have a committee. Those committees even involve, include a person in charge of defense and security. So we need to go back to the drawing board. Previously, I know there was something like Mayumba Kumi, where people are organized in such a way that they know who is coming in the next how many households, you know who stays there. If you are new in the area, you introduce yourself maybe to the LOC, such that they know. But right now, we don't know who is renting in all these apartments around. We don't know who is in all these slums. And even when you go to the villages, many people keep coming to those villages, some as casual workers, some just come and rent somewhere and they start staying there, and no one is paying attention. When you ask the LOC chairman, he will not know, he cannot account for all the people that stay in his village or her village. So as communities, starting from the grassroots, from the LOC1, we need to be on the lookout such that we know who is in our communities. Then after ensuring that, then we report if there is anything that is suspicious, if there are some individuals that are coming into our areas that are suspicious, and then we can report them and task the government agencies to take charge. Then when we do that, then we can hold government accountable. Of course, like I said, the ultimate responsibility of securing people and property lies with government, and this government has been doing well in terms of security. At least most people agree that the government has done quite well, with a few challenges, but they have done quite well in terms of security. So we expect them to put more effort such that even these small incidents that come up are resolved, such that the people are are safe, because as long as people are not safe, then you cannot have any economic development. I saw when the few rebels came recently, I saw people running away, and if you are not at home, these are people who are in the village. So if you are not in your home, if you are not attending to your garden, you are not attending to your animals, there is no way you're going to develop, there is no way you're going even to get food for your household. So right from the household, right from the LOCs, and then the government at large, we all need to be on the lookout such that 2023, we are all secure, such that we can concentrate on developing ourselves. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that contribution. Indeed, government bears a primary responsibility, but we as citizens, we also have to be vigilant and look out for our security, but also to continue demanding for answers. We have to continue demanding that government does what it ought to do in protecting people and their property. Now, having talked about the issue of prioritizing security in communities, I would like to also ask, now to ask you, and I'll begin with you, Nicholas, what you think should be prioritized in this year of 2023, now that we are at its beginning.
Yeah, thank you so much, Martin. As an economist, I will talk more on the economic bit, on how people should look at the economic part of their lives, because it determines a lot of what happens in the communities. Once people don't have money in their pockets, then everything else doesn't work properly. Even the security we are talking about cannot be maintained when people are very poor. So now, looking at 2023, of course, beginning from where we are right now, the economy generally is not doing very well. And this is not only in Uganda. There is a global recession that started from the pandemics. There was COVID across the globe. Then when it was reducing, the other wars came in, like the war in Russia. And then, of course, we had our own local challenges here. So when you combine all those, the economy right now, last year, the economy grew at about 4%, although it was originally projected to be much more than that. And this year, the economy is projected to grow at about 6%. But of course, it means there is a lot of work to be done, both by government and individuals. Inflation is still high, in double digits. There's still scarcity of foodstuffs and all that. So that's where we are coming from. But now we need to move forward, irrespective of the challenges. We need to move forward. We understand that the situation is not the best. The economic conditions are not the best. But as individuals, as communities, as government, we need to find ways of moving forward. Because whereas there are those challenges, there are also opportunities. And these are the few things I think that we should look at as communities. We need to increase food production. We've had a lot of challenges with food. When you go to the market, a bunch of banana is almost 100,000. We saw the prices of maize almost doubling. But recently we got some rains, and therefore I expect communities to take advantage of the rains and increase food production. We shouldn't have empty spaces. When you move across the country, you see a lot of empty spaces. yet most of these areas, most of this is arable land. Uganda has the biggest percentage of arable land in this part of the world. So we need to take advantage of the rains that have come to plant more crops, because it is very, very dangerous to find that people in the villages don't even have food. They are also buying, and yet most of them may not have the money. So action number one that we need to look at as communities is to see how to increase food production and take advantage of the rains. And of course, still related to that, the market for foodstuffs is very high right now because of scarcity. This is not just in Uganda. When you look at our neighbors like Kenya, where in Uganda we had some drought that affected us, but in Kenya it was worse. In Kenya it was worse. So you find that the market for these foodstuffs, things like maize, the market is huge, both in Uganda and Kenya. So let us take advantage of that and grow more foodstuffs and earn some money in addition to saving ourselves. Because like I said, if you find yourself buying all the food, even in the village, then it becomes very, very dangerous. Then coming from the background that things are hard, we also have to work extra hard. So we have to encourage ourselves. All the community leaders need to find ways of sensitizing the masses to make sure that all of us are working, and we need to work extra hard this time, because the situation, like I stated at the beginning, is not so friendly. So that means you have to put in extra effort. If you have been growing 1 acre of crops, this time you have to increase and you do 2. If you have been working a few hours, you have to increase, because you need more money. When inflation comes, it means your money gives you less products in the market. So you have to add you have to add more hours. So I encourage Ugandans, I encourage leaders to sensitize their people to ensure that we work extra hard. And we need to improve on our saving. The saving culture in Uganda is still low, so we need to improve. When there is a small problem, you remember when there was COVID and those lockdowns, people became broke in 1 week because our saving culture. Well, part of the problem is that our earnings are still low, but the other problem is that our saving culture is still poor. There are people who earn a little bit of money where they can save, but you find that they are not saving. So let's take advantage of programs. There are circles everywhere, both in the towns and villages. Let's take advantage of programs like the circles that have been started by both government and private individuals and the communities themselves. Let's take advantage of them. Let's take advantage of the investment clubs. I've seen several people starting investment clubs. Let's take advantage of the government programs like the parish development model. If it's well implemented, I believe it will help people, especially up country, to get a little bit of money, which they can invest in their activities and transform their lives. So let's take advantage of the parish development model. Let's take advantage of Yoga, these government programs that are coming to help the communities. But as individuals, let us be members in these circles and let us invest, because the last 2 years have shown us that you need to save some money somewhere. We have seen, if any one of us had not seen it, COVID helped us to see that you need to save for the rainy day. So and sometimes saving on your bank account or under your bed may be very challenging. So, but when you put this money in the circle or in the investment club, it helps you also to grow as a community. And of course, we need to find other ways. We need to diversify. Let's find other ways of earning some money, such that whether you are in agriculture, you don't grow only one crop. Yeah, whether you're an employee, you don't rely on only your job, one job. We need to diversify, find extra areas where we can earn some money, start some few businesses here and there, and see how to survive. Otherwise, and of course, there are issues of unemployment, so we need to position ourselves. I know some of the people viewing us may be unemployed and they are struggling to find jobs. So you need to improve your skills. Most of the graduates in Uganda do not have soft skills. So it is time to invest in soft skills such that you make yourself competitive in the job market and increase your chances of getting a job such that you can earn some money. So those are some of the things that I can think of, in addition to other things that we can focus on as we start the year. Thank you so much.
Yes, Nicholas has made mention a number of things that we need to look at in the economics place. Of course, things are not doing well, and therefore we have to also devise means as individuals and as we wait, of course, for the big authorities, the government, and the other international bodies that essentially monitor and will control the economy. So I now want to ask you, Francis, what you think in the economics angle or in the, as a way of salvaging the economic situation, what you think can be done in this year 2023. Over to you, Francis.
Thank you so much, the previous speakers. One of the issues, just like Nicholas has mentioned, is on the issue of community mobilization, self-community mobilization. I have realized that most of our communities are still dependent on what comes from government. So that even a small road, a small path that goes to your home, you wait for government. A small community road, you wait for government. And when government is not there, it means that road will either die or you'll keep on raising alarms, government. So self and community mobilization is one thing that we need to prioritize this year, that when government comes into support, they should find us moving with our own kind of arrangements. That is what people commonly used to call it. Then we should also tap into opportunities of skilling the youth. I've realized some regions have gotten youth hubs. There is one that was commissioned in West Nile recently. I know there is one complete one, for example, in Kasese at Mubuku. But you find people are not there, or if they are there, they are very few. The only thing the youth feel they can do is rushing into raiding borders. But this is a border that you're raiding, it is for someone. So I feel if our communities have these vocational skills and they can be able to produce specific products on their own, then we can be able to have something to sell on the market. Like the president has always said, we have a population that is growing, not only in Uganda, but our 42 million in Uganda is added to the over 90 million in Congo added to over some millions in the East African, millions in the East African community. This is a block that is already giving us a population that is able to demand or able to consume specific products. So we need to have, especially the youth and some of those other people that are able to engage in scaling, we need to have them on board. Let's have these people skilled, and then they can produce. Of course, with the component of value addition. I happen to come from, to work with an organization called KRC-UGANDA. We have a small program, a small component that is supported by Enable. They extract banana fiber, and this extraction, I mean, the youth are able to make products from banana fibers, fresh banana fibers. They are making products like these scarves, neck scarves. They're able to make things like carpets. They're able to design very many things from these banana. Banana stems are wasted all over, but they are able to make those small things. But of course, this is a skill that has gone to a smaller group. But if a bigger group, a bigger community can be able to tap into this opportunity, they can even make more attractive products that can meet the market on the East African community. So skilling is one thing that we need. We have the population, we have the electricity, where some of these things need electricity that can be subsidized and then to meet the demands of the youth. Then the other issue that I would like to emphasize is the issue of food security and nutrition. Our viewers, if you go across the Renzori region and even beyond, you will not be surprised that we have cases of stunting. People are still stunted even in the 20th century and the 21st century. Cases of malnutrition are very high. Go to places like Chaka, go to places like West Nile and the Bidi around refugee settlements. People are still stunted. There's a lot of high levels of malnutrition. And you know, currently the food prices are very high, not only of products, of foodstuff that come from outside, but even prices of our own local foodstuff. A kilogram of beans, even when we have just harvested, is still at 4,000 shillings. A kilogram of cassava flour, even when we are harvesting, is still at 3,000 or 3,500. Just imagine. And this is what people consume every day. Look at the price of sugar. Look at soap that a local person uses. So we need to invest in our own production, not producing for the market, but producing also for the household. It is not surprising that someone produces 100 kilograms of beans, but they take all to the market. Some take all to the market. And after taking all to the market, then in a week's time, they go to the same market, to the same person they sold, now to buy at a higher price. So we need to invest in our own food security, especially at household level and then community level. Produce for the house and then produce some for the market, given the fact that our pieces of land are too small to support us to invest in big plantations. Then let's tap into opportunities of small scale irrigation. There is, for example, in Kasese, there is that program that is being rolled out. Let's tap into this small scale irrigation. Let's not think irrigation is for people who have big chunks of land. No, let's tap into this. And the other one issue that communities moving forward 2023 should invest in is the issue of rainwater harvesting. I've realized that the water tariffs have gone high from time to time, including those that draw water from public kiosks. You find a jerrycan of water, 20-liter jerrycan, going for 75 shillings or even 100 shillings. When the dry season, immediately the first days of the dry season drop in, people buy a jerrycan of water, 200, 500, or even 1,000 shillings. And this is someone who has a 60-iron roofed house. Now, let's invest in rainwater harvesting at community level, so that if we had rains once in a month, you can have like 10 days without buying water. And the 10 days without buying water mean if you are using 5 jerrycans per day at a cost of 2,000 shillings times 10, then that can help you to buy water for the next time the dry season is hitting without rains. And then when we when we harvest rainwater, we also reduce on the runoff water that destroys our compounds, that destroys our roads, that floods the rivers. Then the other thing we should focus on is personal security. Personal security, the security of the individual and the security of the neighbor. You will have seen a lot of issues go on, and you find we have had, for example, cases of people committing suicide in their own homes or even outside their homes. By the time someone reaches an extent of committing suicide, it means they no longer have trust and sense in themselves and in the next person. Not only because of that, but there are many factors I know that could lead to suicide. But the moment you lose security of your own self in many aspects, and the moment you know, even I can't get help from the person next to me, then the only thing you do is, let me finish myself. Let me just commit this. So we need to invest in our own security and security of others. Let's have time, to share our own problems. A problem shared is half solved. Share with your own people. Share with a friend. Even when they may not be able to give you what you need there and then, I believe they should be able to give you a next thought. They should be able to refer you to somewhere you can be able to get something else. And it's from this security of a person, from the security of the community, that we will also be able to realize the security of the country. A secure person at home is more or less a secure person at community level, and more or less a secure person at country level. So we need to invest in personal security, community, and security of others generally. And this way, we shall be able to realize the security wholesomely in the country. That is my submission again.
Thank you very much for that. You have touched the issue of agriculture, and you've clearly stated that we can't be producing only sale, but for our own consumption. However, other people have also said that many people in Uganda produce to consume, to sell, and the government, and this was clearly stipulated in Mr. Museveni's address on the 31st, where he emphasized commercial. I've also emphasized it, and also said we should use we should use styles such as irrigation to ensure that there is continuous production. Now, in that same ambit, I want to ask you, Nicholas, who is an economist here. Do you think in the bid to commercialize agriculture, it's possible to leverage the so-called parish development model, all these funds that are supposed to be used to further enable people commercialize agriculture, to enable people cultivate more, as the government has stated? And for context, those ones who do not know what the parish development model is, this is a model where government inputs 100 million per parish to help families to engage in small-scale, high-value agriculture, and priority is given to a number of activities, such as those ones who are engaged in coffee, cattle, food crops, poultry, piggery, fish farming, name it. Majorly in the agricultural sector, money is given to a parish. Then in those parishes, the leaders identify families or groups that instead of for them commercialize their farming with the produce. Later, that money, I think, is paid back to the government. Now, do you think that model will actually work to our communities this year? Is it sustainable?
Thank you, Martin. Thank you, and thank you, Francis, for your input and your contribution. Now, when you look at the parish development model, the parish development model is likely to be a game changer if well implemented. Because these communities, for us here in town, sometimes when you hear of the monies, the amount of money they are putting in those villages, you think maybe the money is not enough, it's not going to do much. But the people in the villages, some of them cannot get 1 million shillings, cannot get 100,000, cannot get 500,000 shillings. So when this money comes in, it helps them. If he's engaged in agriculture, he can go and now buy the seeds, he can buy some chemicals, and then this improves the production, because now when you buy the seeds and you are able to buy the chemicals and you're able to buy a few inputs, that's very important for someone who is deep in the village trying to survive on small scale agriculture. So the parish development model is very important for government and communities, but it has to be implemented well, because we've seen these programs come up and a good number of them have not been implemented well. And this has been due to poor planning by government, and also the thinking from communities. Sometimes when they get money from government, the thinking is that now we have also got time, we've got an opportunity to eat something from government. So instead of using the money and bringing it back to help the next person, they end up just using the money for consumption instead of using it for production. So if government improves on its planning to make sure that, for example, I've seen there are issues of sensitizing the public before you give them the money. So if we do proper sensitization of these communities and we make sure the money actually reaches them, because I know there were still issues where some few parishes got the money and most of them got less than what they were supposed to get. But one hopes that if this money is dispatched to these communities and they are sensitized well and they use this money properly, it should be able to transform them. Of course, it will not necessarily do wonders, but it will bring them to a certain level. Because we have, most of us have grown up in villages and we've we've been able to go to school because of the little income that our parents get from agriculture. So this agriculture can transform, especially the rural communities where people don't have access to cash. As long as they improve on their production, they are able to access some income. This helps these communities to send their kids to school. And when these kids attain education, then in the long run, you have a society that is transformed, because now the children are able to earn more than their parents because they have accessed education. So I want to call upon government and community leaders to take advantage of the parish development model, to take advantage of Myoga, to take advantage of all other government programs that are still ongoing, to ensure that first of all, money is utilized properly, but also ensuring that communities are sensitized, because we need to ensure that communities are sensitized before we give them the money. So if we can work on the planning part, then the parish development model should be able to transform these communities and take them to a certain level where they can earn some incomes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nicholas. That's a positive note, and it's optimistic that parish development model can work if utilized well, and if there is honestly due diligence on part of the government, but also on the part of beneficiaries. It's important that we utilize, because at the end of the day, that is our money as taxpayers. So it does not still make sense for that money not to create value and not to also to increase, to just use it, to eat it, to steal it is counterproductive, and it's a disservice to ourselves, and to the nation, and to the future, to posterity. Because when we are gone, there'll still be a country, and there'll still be people. We don't need to do a disservice to people yet to come by squandering their future. So I want now to give an opportunity to our dear panelists here, conversationists, to give us those few takeaways that they think can be prioritized in this year. You've heard from their different points of view. Francis has also talked about the issue of security. He has emphasized it so much. He has also emphasized the use of agriculture for development. Nicholas has talked about the micro and macroeconomics at the larger part of the government and institutions, but also he has talked about the micro at the small level of people saving, us also engaging in clubs where we can put resources together and help us in the times of need, when we honestly do not have, but also he has talked about other bigger fiscal policies that should be taken by government. It's important, and what they present, what they advise, is essential for us, as communities, for us as a country. And on my part, what I would think should be prioritized in our communities in this year is also the health bit. 2022 saw us have a number of problems in the health sector. We still have COVID-19, and the reports of vaccination rates are not good. Ugandans are not going for vaccination as we should. Government is not hitting the target, I think, of 25 million vaccinated people. We haven't hit that yet, fully vaccinated. Therefore, many people should go and vaccinate. Those ones in the edge of boosting, please get that shot to boost your immunity against COVID-19. We still have, they haven't declared that Ebola is over yet. So there should be vigilance in that area where we guard ourselves. We ensure that we are always clean. Let us wash those hands. Let us stay away from close contact with people whose signs are not clear, but also with people we have not been with and not sure of their health conditions. Let us, so that we prevent the spread of Ebola, let us social distance. And I saw at the beginning of this year, actually towards the end of 2022 in December, and at the beginning at the very first days, I saw a communique making rounds, must have been from Ministry of Health, that there's an outbreak of mumps among mainly young children. Let us be vigilant. Mumps, this is a virus caused by a virus, and usually manifested through swellings in the lower jaws of people, mainly. So they're mainly being affected by children. So we still have a number of health issues to deal with because we're in the tropics, and health is I think health should be also highly prioritized. Food security, like people said in conversations, we shouldn't be having hunger in 2023, but shouldn't be hunger in a country that has fertile space throughout the year, like Uganda is. So as we conclude this Monday session, I want to give an opportunity to points of talked about that they think should be prioritized this year. I'll begin with you, Francis, and then Nicholas.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Allow me just to say something small on what I ended with, the issue of health. The issue of health system is still a little bit down. We are still covering from the COVID-19. Of course, there were these instances of Ebola, and indeed, people have not embraced vaccination. I would like to encourage our communities, our community members, to embrace the issue of vaccination. Otherwise, if it hits again, we may also die in huge numbers. And I have seen a very common kind of disease trend, if I may say. Viewers, my fellow panelists, there is a whole huge disease trend in Uganda. We have had everywhere, in every hospital, you will go to every health facility, you find issues of diabetes. Very common. Issues of hypertension, people call it pressure. Very common. We have now issues of cancer, very common, and cancer is common to my resort region. Issues of malaria, very common. These are very common diseases. I don't know whether it is the community that should be vigilant, or we should change our nutrition kind of arrangement, or we should engage somewhere extra. And then the issue of weekly accidents. I don't know, even when we have traffic police in the roads, every time you hear Masaka, every time you hear Muvende, every time you hear Mavira, every time, these have claimed people's lives. I don't know, someone should be able to look at really exactly what we can do. We seem to be complacent to some of these things. And moving forward, I've just read an extract of the new vision. an extract of today's new vision, about the weather, that it will be dry up to end of February, and they have earmarked those districts that are likely to be affected. And they go ahead to say farmers are encouraged to avoid wasteful consumption of food and immediate sale of harvests for food security. So we have something a little big ahead of us that we need to get ready for, that we need to get prepared for, as we also look at investing in other things like food security and getting ready to take our kids to school. Yeah, I beg to submit and wish us a very good, prosperous year. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and thank you for bringing the issue of road safety. Each year we lose about 4,500. Each year we lose about 4,500 road accidents in Uganda. So you make a valid point when you say we should prioritize indeed road safety. It's the numbers are so bad. It's dire, and we have made this clarion call to government to improve public transport in this country. I don't know why we should not be, why every road should be, every vehicle should be on the road. Why we should have everyone in their private vehicle when we could have public means that are larger, that are more sustainable in terms of the environment, but also that reduce on the number of vehicles, on the number of motorcycles, name it, that we have on the road. So road safety is something that I would look forward to being improved in this year, 2023. Nicholas, you have the final say.
Thank you so much, moderator. As we conclude, I want to re-emphasize the opportunities, because we already looked at the challenges. So I want to re-emphasize the opportunities that are available within our economy, to see how to take advantage of them, and then improve our household incomes in 2023. 2023, it is time, I want to encourage our viewers, it is time to go out and work and focus on increasing our household incomes. The good thing is that now COVID here in Uganda is not a big problem. Ebola that had come has also somehow been managed. So the economy is fully open. So it's time for us now to go back to work. Every one of us should focus on increasing income at a personal level, at a household level, and at community level. Some of us who are educated and have information should go back and share this information with our communities where we come from. Some of these people in the villages do not have the information we have. Let us go back. Let us not just sit in Kampala with our information. Let us go back and share this information with our rural communities. Let us mobilize them. Let us participate in local initiatives in our villages to improve household incomes where we come from. That's the only way we are going to transform our country. Our country will only be transformed when the household income at a grassroots level in the villages there has been improved. So let us take advantage of the economy now that is open. There are other opportunities that are coming on board. The oil prices have reduced a bit. You see fuel prices going down, so that should help us to reduce on inflation. There is investment in oil that is coming up, the pipeline and all that. Money will be coming into the economy. The government is trying to manage inflation. It is still around 10%, but I believe with the harvest that are coming, that have already come, and other crops that are about to be harvested, together with the reduction in international oil prices, we expect that inflation will reduce. So let us take advantage of those opportunities. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Let us not sit down and blame government, because at the end of the day, we are responsible for our own progress. The government will come in with policies and managing the macroeconomics, but as individuals, we have to come out and work. So in 2023, I want to encourage all the viewers to go ahead, find new ways of making money, sensitize communities, save more, invest more, participate in the development programs, and start where you are. Sometimes we keep complaining that we don't have money, we don't have resources. Start where you are. I will end with this quote from Confucius, who says that the man who moves the mountain begins by carrying away small stones. So don't wait to carry the entire mountain at once. Begin with the small stones, start where you are, and let us develop our country together. Thank you so much, and I wish you good health and prosperity in 2023.
Thank you very much, Nicholas, and thank you, Francis, for shedding light into what you think should be prioritized in this new year of 2023. And I could not agree with them more, for sure. Those issues matter, the economics of the country, both macro at the higher level, but also the micro at our individual levels and our small community levels. We should do all it takes for us to see that we survive, not just the next day, the next month, next quarter of the year, but also the next year, the entire year and the next year, so that we are able to live happy and also better, and like you said, to live prosperously. And thank you also, Francis, for giving us those insights. Security is important, but also for agriculture is important. And we have also to take care of the environment. Is something that we should prioritize. Yeah, we have to take care of our home that the earth is, because we do not have any other as of now. I thank all of you, our viewers, for being part of this this day's show, and we ask the good Lord to bless you in this new year. May your work be fruitful, and may God, the universe, may luck also be on your path. From me, I wish you a happy new year, and thanks to our panelists and our conveners, the Civic Space and Civic Space TV and Center of Constitutional Governance. I wish you a happy new year.